The stormy night had brought a gruesome discovery to the small town. A wealthy businessman had been found dead in the dilapidated Blackwood Mansion, and it was up to Detective Sarah Martinez to solve the case. As she stepped inside the mansion, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, and little did she know that the secrets lurking inside would lead her on a journey she would never forget. It was a cold and stormy night when Detective Sarah Martinez received a call from the local police department. They had found a body in an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town, and they needed her expertise to solve the case. Sarah was a seasoned detective with a reputation for solving the toughest cases, but this one would prove to be her biggest challenge yet. As she arrived at the scene, she could feel the weight of the mystery hanging heavy in the air. The mansion was old and dilapidated, with vines and weeds covering the exterior walls. As she stepped inside, she was greeted by a musty smell and the sound of raindrops hitting the windows. The mansion was enormous, with multiple floors and a labyrinth of hallways, and it was clear that the investigation would take time and patience. Sarah began her investigation by examining the body. The victim was a wealthy businessman named Johnathan Blackwood, and he had been shot in the head at close range. The murder weapon was nowhere to be found, and there were no signs of forced entry or struggle. Sarah started interviewing the staff and residents of the mansion. She discovered that Blackwood had recently returned from a trip to Europe, where he had acquired a valuable antique collection. Many of the items were missing, leading Sarah to believe that the motive for the murder was robbery. However, as Sarah delved deeper into the case, she realized that things were not as they seemed. There were too many loose ends, too many unanswered questions. Why had Blackwood returned from Europe early? Who else had access to the mansion? And why were there no signs of struggle or forced entry? Sarah knew that she had to be methodical and patient, and she spent countless hours interviewing witnesses and analyzing evidence. She combed through Blackwood's financial records, his personal relationships, and his business dealings, looking for any clues that could lead her to the killer. Finally, after weeks of investigation, Sarah discovered a clue that would crack the case wide open. It was a diary belonging to Blackwood's wife, Elizabeth. In it, she revealed that she had been having an affair with Blackwood's business partner, Jameson. She had convinced Jameson to help her rob Blackwood of his antique collection, but things had gone wrong, and Blackwood had been killed in the process. Sarah arrested Elizabeth and Jameson, and they were both sentenced to life in prison. As Sarah reflected on the case, she realized that the biggest mystery was not the murder itself, but the human psyche. The desire for wealth, power, and love could drive people to do unimaginable things, and it was her job as a detective to bring justice to those who had been wronged.